You've got this one coming up, the Woleks Famous Beard Championships, the Christmas edition, kinda,
Mhm.
and then this is a subcategory of that. So these are two contests that you have coming up, and it's all in one, but it's got two different event pages. Tell us about these competitions and who you're raising money for.
Well, we're raising money for the St. Nicholas Institute in Detroit, Michigan. So
Okay.
the St. Nicholas Institute is a school for Santa Claus for people. They're trying to prevent a bad Santa situation to happen anywhere, and so people come there to learn about St. Nicholas, who inspired Santa Claus, and a little bit about the history about how that came about. The Also, they learn a little bit about how to become a better Santa Claus performer. I usually get involved and teach people how to look like Santa Claus. And every Christmas, they have a fundraiser where they either give blankets to the homeless in Detroit or raise money for toys. And also, just so that they can have an institute every year, which happens around in October. And so we thought there was not an institute this year, and me and my staff were talking about it, and we thought, why don't we just did a contest in Key West? Why don't we do one again? It'll be fun. It'll be Christmas time. Maybe we can raise some money for the St. Nicholas Institute, and that's what we put forward. So I have a few Santa Clauses within my following. So, but we didn't want to make it exclusive just to Santa Claus. So we wanted to make a holiday beard decorating contest. And then there's also what we're calling the Three Kings Beard and Mustache Contest, which those categories are more like a traditional beard competition, except for it's all styled. So you don't have to have a white beard. You can have whatever beard you have, or a mustache, or partial hair pieces. And then we just want to see them styled like royally.
So
And
will
then
this will be the same online contest that you're running
yes,
for Christmas?
they are all categories within the contest. And then there's also a beard decorating contest, and there's also a couple Whiskerina subcategories. I should call them categories, shouldn't I, instead of different separate contests. So there's the styled bearded mustache contest, which is for groomed and styled mustaches and beards and partial hair pieces. There's the beard decorating contest where you could just do whatever you want to your beard, decorate it like a Christmas tree. There is a Krampus category where we want to see crazy, gnarly beards and hair that hasn't been kept well. And in order to qualify for this category, you have to show your tongue in the photo, because the Krampus was known about his tongue, and it did all kinds of crazy magical Christmas things. And it's very appropriate because he was a helper of St. Nicholas. In a lot of traditions for St. Nicholas, he had a helper because he was a very nice guy. So he had to have, in this case, it was the Krampus who dealt with the naughty children. So you will not qualify for the Krampus category unless you show your tongue.
There you go.
That's funny.
Now, there is a big subcategory that we're calling the All-American Santa Claus category. And there's multiple categories in that. The Real Bearded Santa Claus category is for a traditional beard mustache contest. What you do is you submit your photo, and then we are going to take your the measurements that you send us and put you in your own subcategory. So if your beard is under 3 inches, you will only compete with the Santa Claus beards who are 3 inches. Now, this is very important, is that you do not have to be a professional Santa Claus to enter into this category. This is for men with white beards or gray beards. There were many Santa Clauses that had gray beards, so you can enter into this category. Like, for instance, Kurt Russell. And then there is a category for Santa Clauses who wear wigs and beards and hair pieces, which we call the theatrical bearded contest. That will have subcategories within it. So if you are someone with an awesome Santa Claus wig set, and maybe it doesn't have this fancy lace, or it even hasn't yak or anything, there will be a subcategory for the traditional Santa Clauses that we know and love, that have the strap and crazy long beards made of synthetic fibers, and human hair fibers. It doesn't even matter. And that is dedicated to Charles Howard. That's the name of the category. He was one of the most famous traditional Santa Clauses that we remember at a mall or growing up. And then there's also
lace.
Mm-hmm.
That's
with or without lace. Yes. And then we will break you up into the subcategories from that. There's a category if you dress up like St. Nicholas. That's more of a costume category. And then there is a category for the Sinterklaas, which is the Dutch version of Santa Claus. If you have an incredibly long beard, enter into the real bearded category because you will be put in the subcategory for Russian and Finnish Santa Clauses. If you have a beard that you don't have to style, you don't even have to have a handlebar mustache, you will be put in the Thomas Nast category in the real bearded Santa Claus contest.
I had no idea there was this so many subcategories of Santa beards. Like this is amazing. Like I'm looking through this whole list and everything going along with what you're saying. It's just this is crazy. I had no idea. Sorry, go ahead.
If you want to know more about the subcategories, you can go to mustacheparlor.com/
you can
beard
do it
contest.
Okay. So all this lives, like all this information is all on mustacheparlor.com. And from there, you can get to the Jot Form link. And then that's where you buy your ticket per category and stuff. Is that correct?
Yes. And so here's the fun part is you have until Christmas Eve to send us your picture. Just sign up now. Don't worry about taking a picture. We will reply back. I have somebody in my office that's going to be maintaining this. And with instructions, it's basically where your subcategory is and when to send us a picture. Because we have 3 great judges. I'm not going to be judging it because I want this contest to be very unbiased. I'm hoping a lot of my clientele will enter into the Santa Claus category. And I want people who have Santa Claus beards from all over the world to enter because the true purpose is to raise money for the St. Nicholas Institute. And so if you've got a beard and mustache that was made from someone from China, from Italy, Switzerland, there's a great place in Kentucky that makes beards and mustaches, feel free to enter. I'm not going to be judging. I'm just organizing the contest and hoping to give a nice little donation to the St. Nicholas Institute.
So as I'm like kind of searching through the website, I found this fun little thing that I just wanted to share with everyone. It's the Santa beard collection. So right here is a whole bunch of different pre-made beards that you guys have done. I'm assuming these ones come with wigs too and different prices and stuff like that. So if by some chance you are a Santa that can't grow their own beard and who's really interested in accessorizing to make themselves an even better Santa, this is definitely the place to go to get all your different Santa needs for sure. This is just insane. Like I didn't have any idea that the stuff like this existed. This is just terrific.
It's amazing. It's super cool. And you do all this stuff. And I just super talented. Unbelievable.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah. So your judges for this contest.
Yes. The judges, I'll elaborate. We have East Coast and West Coast judges. So I'm really proud to announce that a very good colleague of mine who worked on the West Coast, who is a journeyman member of the Hollywood Hair and Makeup Guild, and he's worked on lots of famous animatronic beards and mustaches, if you get my hint, will be one of our judges. And we have a very talented lady who is her counterpart on the East Coast, who will be another one of our judges. Plus one of the department heads from Walt Disney World and several opera companies will be one of our judges. But our most important judge, if you've ever want your beard and mustache to be looked at by a fine-tooth comb by an award-winning Hall of Fame Santa Claus himself, the man who runs the St. Nicholas Institute, Mr. Father Joseph Marquise, but his real name is Santa Claus. After he gets home from delivering presents on Christmas Eve, that's why the deadline is there, we are going to send him all of your pictures, and he will be our tiebreaker. Pretty cool, huh?
He's gonna let everyone know whose beard is naughty and nice, Aaron.
Oh, he'll already know. I mean, I think he can pretty well judge it without even having to look at the pictures. But I'm sure he'll still look at the pictures because that's what he's supposed to do. But he already knows.
He's gonna put coal in your beard this year, Aaron.
Probably.
He's gonna rub it all over your face and be like, Aaron D. Johnston, you're so dumb. And then he's gonna smash coal in your face.
That's usually how that works. Santa's shove coal in your face when you're bad.
It's what you imagine, Aaron.
That's a super aggressive Santa, Scott.
Well, it's what you imagine. It's what you imagine.
It's what you imagine.
You created
that, Scott. You created that. So we posted something up here a second ago. What was that guy's name? Tom. He's posted. Post that one too. Look at that. You got a
Jesse Brown says, I'm fan bearding so hard. I'd love to apprentice or work for you, Ron. See, we were just talking about this before the show about what the salary. I mean, we're ballpark around $1 million a year or something.
Millions just to apprentice for him.
Yeah,
that's how much it is. That's how amazing he is.
That's how much you have to pay him to work with him.
Yeah, just wrong.
It's not a bad idea. A lot of my students have awards. That's what I used to do, is teach in Hollywood. Fortunately, the pandemic closed the school I was working at. And I'd be happy to take on more apprentices.
Well, there you go. So if you're super serious about that, Jesse, you can probably reach out to Ron and went through his social media or something, and he'll probably contact you. But we got this one as well.
Now, I should probably say what people can win, right?
Oh, that's why you're a professional. What can you win if you win this?
Well, you will get a trophy if you win.
Oh my.
I
like that trophy.
And everybody who submits, that's why you got to pay a little bit for postage. Postage went up about $2. It's kind of annoying. Everybody gets a certificate.
Holy cow.
Signed by Santa Claus with your rank into the contest. So Santa Claus will do. It's not just going to be first, third, fourth place. We will rank everybody as you came in, add into the contest, and Santa Claus himself will insert it right there with his special St. Nicholas Institute stamp.
That's professional.
That's a pretty cool souvenir himself.
Cool,
he's a legit Hall of Fame. He won an Emmy for singing as Santa Claus with the Four Tops in the Motown Christmas special.
Holy cow.
This man also was, at one time, there was the Macy's parade. There was also a parade on Thanksgiving in Detroit on Thanksgiving too. And this was the Santa Claus who was in it until the parade closed down.
And now he's going to judge your facial hair.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question for you. One of our fans in the chat room asks a really ridiculous question, and then just don't laugh. Need a whaler Santa. I mean, what's your thoughts on Santa not having a mustache?
Don't
think too hard about it.
I think there's yes, he does exist in Iceland. There are about 9 Santa Clauses in Iceland who have particular jobs, and they visit on particular nights. And I'm almost certain one of them doesn't have a mustache in one of the ways that they're depicted. And
that's a perfect place for a whaler Santa to be, all the way in Iceland.
Yeah, I think you drank too much eggnog tonight.
As far away from everyone else as you can is where the whaler Santa belongs, for sure.
Yeah, and you really need to be nice, because those Santas will take you and bring you up to this troll someplace on a mountain and put you in a pot, and then the troll eats you. And this cauldron exists. I'd like to go one day.
See, look at Jesse got excited.
Been to the one in Finland, which is since it's holidays, there's a small debate where the North Pole is. It could be in Finland, it could be in Canada, it could be in the United States, it could be in Russia.
It's in Canada. Everybody knows that.
I think so.
The Canadian Santas are the best.
Christine Hackman told me it was in Canada, and I believe everything she says.
Canada usually takes stuff that nobody wants and makes something beautiful out of it. So I would believe that it's in Canada.
Hockey.
Well, that's different. We took hockey away from them, and now we have, I don't know. I don't even know where that was going. Hockey's stupid.
Shut up, Aaron.
I was going to say we turned it into soccer, but we didn't do that either. I don't know.
Wow, we have so many great people in the chat room tonight. We even have Greg Anderson. He's a world famous photographer. We have so many awesome people involved in the show tonight. This is just
apparently
great.
The North Pole is a strip club in Vegas.
Oh.
That's what Greg Anderson
all the bad
says.
Santas must come from.
Wow.
So speaking of bad Santas, do you ever do any Santa stuff that isn't like a white beard? Have you ever done that, or white or gray? Like
Yes.
a Santa specific that you're like, all right, I'll make you a Santa beard, but it's brown and you're wrong.
I have a story. I wish I could have done that. I got to work on the have you ever seen the episode of the Stephen Colbert show where he has kids come up with their own movie, and they had a Santa Claus versus a bad Santa, except for his name was spelled backwards. It was Atnaz. Well, Atnaz had a black beard. I got to make the traditional Santa one, but I wanted to do that one. But we do Santa beards of all different colors. There is a Santa Claus that used to be in Pennsylvania in the Pennsylvania Dutch called the Burznickel. I think his name is the Burznickel.
Okay.
And he has a brown beard, and he comes around and whips children before Santa comes.
This is crazy.
Some communities still have a Burznickel, but not so much anymore, because that's another thing that's interesting about the American Santa Claus. Coca-Cola did play a big part in commercializing it so people knew who he was. But the real reason I believe he became the standard of Santa Claus is because our Santa Claus, when he showed up, he just gave presents and a lump of coal. If you get the list of all the things the other traditional Santas were doing, it was kind of barbaric. And when people learned about that, they were like, oh, well, we want to show our children and not scare the bejesus out of them. Let's go with this Coca-Cola guy's Santa. And there's like a couple things we can be proud of in this country that's original. I think there's jazz and Santa Claus and, I don't know, cartoons maybe.
That's about it.
Yeah.
And Talking Beards podcast, we created that here in the United States all by ourselves.
Oh.
That's pretty much the most famous, wonderful thing that the United States has given the rest of the world is this podcast, I think.
Yes, we extinguished the Krampus, the Burznickel, and a lot of other crazy things that were happening to the poor kids.
I like that
the Iceland guy that was feeding bad kids to the troll mother.
I mean, it's a good way to keep your kids in line, I guess.
Yeah.
It probably was. They were, what was the old saying? They were seen and not heard back in those days.
Yeah, because if they were heard, they were fed to trolls. So they just shut up.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So that's basically that. You know, as Scott said, we could just go on and on with you, and I knew that's the way this episode was going to go. You're just full of all these amazing stories, but most importantly, we're wanting to direct people's attention to your online competitions. And you know, are you got any more competitions coming up? Do you have anything else planned live and in person for next year?
Yes, we're working on replicating the 70th anniversary of my grandfather's beard and mustache contest in Syracuse, New York, which we're going to be donating the funds to help raise money for a roof for the Polish Community Center.
That's awesome.
We'll have more details about that and great partners.
Yeah, so we've already got a tentative date, I think, on that on the calendar. It's still kind of, you know, I just wanted to get it out there so people somewhat knew about it. But obviously, once you get a date locked in and we get some more news and information about that one, I'll get the event page posted up on the beer calendar. And if you're in the Syracuse, New York area, you could, you know, there's going to be a beer competition coming your way. So Matt McClear, we're looking at you. I know you're up in that part of the world, and you always say how there's no beer competitions in New York. Well, buddy, there's one coming your way in April, I think, right? April, March, somewhere in there.
Yeah, we're solid on April 8th. We just haven't locked down the location.
Well, there you go. April 8th, Syracuse, New York. What about that Key West one? Are you going to do the Key West event again?
Yeah, that'll be on Monday, October 23rd again this year. That is the Fantasy Fest Beard Contest, Woleks Famous Beard Championship. That's a beard mustache contest, and we also have a fantasy element to it where you can create a beard out of anything and show up with it, and we'll let you in. We had a very good year this year. We had this veteran that showed up with the most insane beard that we've ever seen. It was his whiskers were all wrapped up in the little balls, and it goes on and on. Anyway, he showed up Desperado style right in the middle of judging. He won the judges award, and then he kind of left, and we never found out the man's name. So we'd like to get his certificate to him somehow. So if anybody knows a veteran in Key West with a very distinct beard of 4 small balls wrapped up in from whiskers that hang from his chin.
Do we have pictures?
Yes, we would be happy to send you the pictures of the guy.
Yeah,
send us those pictures so we can post these things.
Yeah, we'll get some pictures posted up and see if anyone even can help us out with identifying this perpetrator.
We would love it because we'd love to give him his certificate.
Well, Ron, I'm glad that we were able to have you on tonight.
And Ron, I'm glad we could have you on tonight too.
Both Rons, all the Rons tonight. You know, I mean, people have seen the Ron's famous beard championship stuff, and people didn't know who this Ron was. And now there's a face or faces to the Rons. And I look forward to working with you and helping you spread all the information about all these competitions you have coming up. And I don't know, I'm super excited about working with you. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for all your help and support. And we hope that we can give a nice little chunk of change to the St. Nicholas Institute this year. Santa Claus will be very happy. There'll be no coal in Aaron's beard.
I hope so. Come on, everybody. Raise a bunch of money so I can buy my way out of this coal disaster that Scott's got me in. And one last thing. Did you see this, Ron? Lindsay said Syracuse with a bunch of exclamation points. That's right, Lindsay. Me and Ron both will be in Syracuse, so you have no choice but to come work for Ron. That's you have no other option.
We're gonna trap Lindsay Searles.
That's right. Just stick her in the car and just take her to Orlando with you. She'll be fine.
It's not the worst place we could have taken her.
I like it here.
Hi, Lindsay.
All right, Rons. Well, thank you for stopping by and letting us know about all this stuff you have coming up. And man, we're probably just gonna have you on again because you're just a wealth of knowledge. So maybe,
thank you.
Maybe next time we'll have something else to talk about. Maybe like the Easter one or whatever. But thank you guys. Check out what is it? The MoustacheParlour.com, and all the news and information is over there about all the competitions.
Yes, and I do want to say I use Honest Amish soap, and I smell really good today.
Wow.
You do. I can test. I was there. I smelled him. He smelled great. All right. Well, thank you guys. And check out the MoustacheParlour.com for all.